Cause they thought I'd never make it. See me fall down and they celebrate it. Learn how to win with no demonstration. Pop box the cool, gotta ventilate it. Cause I can't see shit out on 95. Prolific little bitch, I see dollar signs. The shit I done seen got me traumatized. Tryna clear all the pain in my mama's eyes. And my daughter, she watching me closely. Tryna better myself like I should be. Had to chill out with all of that street shit. I came a long way, but don't push me. Rest in peace to my bro, it ain't right though. 20 bands, nothing that's light sauce. Hit the booth and I turn all the lights off. Gotta get in my zone. Gotta turn on my phone, cause all them smiles is fake and I see it. Bad guy, if I got out, I'll be it. Baptized, but I'm living with demons. Trap vibes, so I'm cashing out Neiman's. No face, swear these bitches is heathens, but I don't need them though. Keep my moves quiet, you don't need to know. My new tools silent. Cause they thought I'd never make it. See me fall down and they celebrate it. Learn how to win with no demonstration.
What's that?
Gotta ventilate it.
What is your... Oh, you're French. You're French for this episode. Did you have your wine?
Yes, I have a Hennessy white and maracuja and lemon and let me stop crossing my legs like a
Happened the last. Oh, holding my son for the last time. But it was a beautiful setting. And even to spend that whole day, it was interesting because even as I was holding him, I was still preparing my day as it normally went to come back and, come here and still, I didn't know what it was going to be, but even by the time I got in the car and was headed to the airport, I had to turn around.
What's happening?
Nothing. I mean, I call with you. Good. That's good co-host stuff. You might get hired at this.
Oh, she probably kicked him like.
I don't know.
I didn't even see her do that. I was like, focused on
It happens.
Yeah, I mean that's Nick Cannon. So Nick Cannon just released that he lost his son, and he aired it a week later, on the show. So.
Oh, that was a week later. I thought that was like.
Yeah, this it just released today, I believe.
Yeah.
It was released today. Yeah. So it happened over a week ago, but he just released it today, so it's still fresh. You know what I mean? Like. It just happened, and he went on there and he told everybody kind of what happened. So that's tough.
And that's his son.
Yeah, man, you're not supposed
his
to bury
youngest
your kids.
and most recent son.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I mean I don't have kids, so.
I don't
Not that you know
either.
of. That you know. Sorry.
Goddamn.
8 kids in not to speak lightly of the situation, but 8 kids in the Compo and Dominican Republic. But. I don't have kids, so I don't know if I don't want to be ignorant to say obviously you have a child and it's that is your child and you love them and everything like that, but being that it was 5 months?
5 months.
5 months.
So 5 months. Granted, no matter what I'm saying, it's you didn't spend so much time with them, so maybe it won't hurt as much. I'm not trying to be insensitive whatsoever to this topic because I don't have any children. But granted, if someone that I love dies, I can only imagine a child. I would be fucking not being like that on TV. I would be fucking a mess. Do you think that it would matter being that you had less time with the child, that it would hurt less, or compared to later on in your life?
I personally think, like I told you today, cancer is the fucking devil. It doesn't respect your age. It doesn't respect absolutely anything. You can be born with it. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, to piggyback off what you're saying, I don't think, and I am a mother of 3.
7.
I don't
let her talk, bro.
For real.
It's part of the episode.
Hold on,
it's part of
my cat is showing.
Me, if I had, when I deliver my
Hold up.
What?
You have to say it.
Oh, she wouldn't know because she doesn't listen to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
She's a fake follower.
What?
She's a
Excuse
fake-
me, I heard
she's
your
an
last
influencer.
podcast and I gave you feedback on that one. So
That's 1 out of 15.
I didn't watch the last.
Let her
few,
talk, let her
right?
talk.
But I'm talking now, anyways.
See, that's like,
So
no, just block this all right here. Just put a big black X on it.
Power was
Hey, can I get a high five, turkey?
I up, bitch.
are we gonna talk about like
Okay,
what this
go,
is?
go.
Are you gonna hear what I have to say?
Yeah, let her talk. This dude's the
Good as hell, for real.
Yo,
Anyways,
that
like
ass.
I was saying, so for me, when the moment my kids are born, I have a bond and an automatic love for them. So especially, honestly, people have stillborns, born out of the womb already, deceased, and then you have 5 months, and then you have 20 years, and then you have my ex 32 years, and his mom just lost him. So I see what you're saying because you have so many more years to build a solid relationship with your kid who is probably an adult and older. But at the same time, that love that you have for your child as a parent, that's there from the very beginning. Yeah. So I feel like the pain is still the same.
I think,
So you
hold
have
on,
a
because,
favorite?
hold on. Oh, you definitely have a favorite. Everybody has a favorite.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite.
Yeah, but you have a favorite.
I don't.
You're a liar, and I can
Listen,
tell you who
I
your
have
favorite
twins and I have a
is.
favorite, but
And I can tell you your favorite
we gonna
is
mention
your
that.
middle child.
But I think
She
that
knows that.
what she's saying is true, but I think it's because of the process, right?
Yeah.
Like you're pregnant, you go through 9 months, you start building
You
this
think
kind
it's
of like
different for
emotional.
You think it's different for the father?
It's different for both.
Yeah.
It's different for both. This people with grief and take things different ways. Like for a father, he's looking forward to having that boy, right? So it's like the 9 months that you're carrying, he's just looking for it. You're feeling it, but he's looking for it,
Yeah,
waiting
two
for
girls. So what is that for you?
it.
Good
If
question.
Yeah, two girls.
Like if you would have lost one of yours.
No,
I'm-
she's saying about like he's talking about boy. She's talking about he had
wants
two
that-
girls.
The guy wants the
Like
boy,
the
but you
bond?
had two
so, here's
girls.
I'll be honest with you guys. So I'll be
older now.
up. So
And they're amazing.
my thing is they're amazing, right? So luckily for me, because if there would have been anything that I was,
Trash.
Or like
I would have
Like,
lost my hair
legit
17
trash.
years ago.
Legit trash.
Legit trash.
Well, you lost your hair 17 years ago, but whatever.
It's early, so I'm gonna let you rock. It's early. We just started the episode. We got some more minutes. But I think
I don't think we could ever do a serious.
I think
we get serious episode.
Sips tea.
I think it's like I built the love and affection that I have.
Yeah.
So yes, for a guy, you're gonna look forward to because it's the boy, right? And at first the mom is like she's just being happy being pregnant, right?
Yeah.
But I think for me, like I became how I am because of the growth that I've seen with them. So like I've actually built more love and emotion over time with girls.
That makes
Obviously,
sense.
every guy wants boys. It's obvious, right?
Not
but once
necessarily.
Yeah, but this is-
I know
that-
guys
but
that want
listen,
all girls.
But that's not the
matter,
question
though. I
though.
don't
That's not
think
the
that
question.
matters.
oh wait, what was the question?
So what I'm asking, so for you, God forbid, like
For
fucking
me?
God forbid, no, not for me.
Literally.
Fuck.
No, you said for you.
No, but he meant for both.
I'm a
Okay,
fake
okay.
me.
Like, come on.
Like God forbid, like you just said right now, you built that relationship with them over time. Like those are your girls. You know what I mean? Obviously, whatever. You guy wants boys, some guys want girls. So, but you wanted boys, but you got two beautiful daughters, twins. You built that relationship with them over now the 16 years that they've been alive. God forbid, if this were to happen to you as they were 5 months old, would you have had the same connection as what the mother would have?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I can only assume that it probably wouldn't be as strong as the mother would.
No,
Because the mother,
Or
the mother.
the bond that you have with them now versus how you had with them when they were 5 months old.
Yeah, like
different.
it's tough because in the beginning, it's everybody's situation is different. Just to answer your question, right?
It is very different.
But to answer your question, I wouldn't say it would be harder then than it is now.
Yeah.
Because then, like you said, 5 months in, you're still a new parent. My age,
Yeah.
my case, I was 18. So what the hell was a parent at 18? You know what I mean? I learned again through the grapevines and through the time.
And not only that too, but like what you said, everyone is different. Literally, everyone is different because you're saying like mothers have a bond. I know mothers that don't have a bond with their babies, and
Or
I know
fathers
mothers that
that
aren't.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not stronger for a mother because again, like I've seen mothers that they don't have like this strong love and bond. Like they're very like with their kids, and they're not maternal, or in fathers, some fathers aren't paternal, so that could impact the way they feel towards their kids, and God forbid a loss of a kid that impacts, you know, the way they grieve for that loss. Nick Cannon, like, as the example, has like 1970,
so, like,
1,000 billion kids.
But you know what? Honestly,
he
he might just really enjoy. Like, this is the thing, right? I feel like, and again, I'm just speaking for myself. Like, if finance wasn't an issue, if money wasn't an issue, a lot of people would have a lot more kids.
Would you have more kids?
I would have 1,000 more kids if money was an issue. Because I feel like,
but money's an issue.
I feel like it's you think about right. This is one aspect of having children, right? But you tie that to a financial responsibility.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
you stop yourself and use condoms and pull out and all this to prevent something that you know genuinely you would actually enjoy as a human being, right? I feel like we all enjoy it, but we start thinking about, damn, can I even afford, and the responsibility behind it. So I think somebody like Nick Cannon, for one, kudos to him for even bringing this up a week after it happened. But he's so financially set that I think he's actually invested and involved in all of his kids. So 5 months, 3 months, it could have been a week. I think he would have felt the same thing. To answer your question.
That makes sense because, okay, so we don't have kids. Clearly, you guys have kids. Clearly, this was not a setup.
Yeah, it's
we
not.
sat like this for no reason.
There's no like.
This is a kid side.
This is not
kids on that side.
But
these are the responsible people.
No kids.
And these are the people that are going to Patio after this.
Podcast closed out.
Not even open.
Yeah, but y'all gonna reopen it. Y'all wouldn't know that. Y'all wouldn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
Dirty Rabbit, and you were there last week.
Thank you.
Now imagine.
No, kid.
This wasn't planned. It wasn't planned.
Look, it's a lot. It's a lot. I feel like it's completely different to grieve with kids than it is to grieve with you by yourself. Like 100%. If you have kids with someone and that person passes away, it's completely different than if I were to have kids and that person passes away.
Honestly, look, it's very. Let me like throw this in there. So I've had a lot of death in my life, from when I was in 6th grade. A lot of my friends, one of my closest friends in middle school was accidentally shot in the head by his friends. And then it just triggered every year I was having like someone die for 3 years in a row. And then, so I've dealt with a lot of death. And then 5 years ago, my aunt was found dead. I was the first one there. 4 months later, my cousin in the same house, her son was found dead. So I've dealt with a lot of, and I know you haven't because we were talking about it previously. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you that I've heard so many people cry. I've heard so many different cries. And when my aunt passed away and we had to tell my grandmother, that day I will never forget, and we walked into her house, the cry that I heard from my grandmother was a cry that it was like the cry of losing your kid.
Let me ask you something.
Any other cry.
And I don't want to interrupt you, but let me ask you something because I'm going to probably forget. And this might be a stupid question, but again, the last person that I lost, I was 13 and it was my grandfather, which I was close to. But I was 13. I'm 34. Yeah. It was 21 years ago. So I honestly don't know what grief is because, for one, I'm very like, it's life, right? In general, right? Like everything is just like, it's life.
When you're not going through it.
Exactly.
Not necessarily,
but
not necessarily because look, opposite from me. Look, me and Berto are opposite. I've had
very
so many
opposite.
deaths.
Like this is
I've had so many deaths. Bro, I'm gonna punch you.
I'm done with him.
I've had so.
Kyle was in a great mood. He made me.
I've had so.
I don't know what happened with you.
Bro, can we please?
Like, I mean, continue. I was talking to myself.
I've had a lot of deaths in my life, and you've had like only one like impactful death.
Too impactful.
I can tell you that I'm at a point, and I don't remember who I was talking to about it the other day, but I'm at a point that I'm like, my grandmother's not doing good right now. She has leukemia that she's had for a few years, and she was just diagnosed like a week ago with pancreatic cancer. So she's like at the end, like literally the last like maybe 2 months, maybe a month. So I can tell you that I'm so used to it that I'm just like, okay, so who's next?
But
she's going, okay, all right, that's.
But do you think?
Like,
all right,
I'm already like, all right, let's go.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah,
Let me ask you, hold on, because going back to my question from before, when you were talking about your aunt, when you walked in and you were the first one, do you think that part of the grieving and part of the sadness is because, and again, I don't know if this is very straightforward, is because they died or because of how it happened? Because I feel like the reaction, a lot of it is part of what happened.
Okay.
Because if it's like, yo, I have a grandfather's 85, he's been sick for 5 years, it's kind of like, it's going to suck.
5 years old.
Okay.
But like,
personally,
100%.
Me personally, I feel like, okay, this is going to sound super like, on the other side, but whatever. Like, me personally, every person that I've had that been very close to me or like somewhat me and you have some
type of relationship,
or whatever, I promise you, every time they've passed, I've seen them a week in advance, a week or less in advance, right? And then at this point, and then only two of them have been young. I'm sorry, 3 of them have been young. The rest have been old. The old people, I'm like, all right, like, it is what it is.
It is very different when you die. Yeah, when you die young and unexpected and tragically.
Old, I'm sorry, not that I don't feel the same, but it's just like
you live.
Hey, you live your life, and it is what it is.
100%.
But when you're young and you pass, it's a whole different feeling.
But also, when exactly that goes back to my question. I feel like, for example, right, like
you have. I don't think it affects you differently because you can have a love and a bond and a connection with someone whether they're older or whether they're younger. But the initial reaction when you expect it versus when you don't expect it.
Wait, that is not expected.
It's different when you're young.
Well, when you're older, when you're sick, like my grandmother, I know she has cancer. I know.
You kind of prep for it.
I'm prepping for it.
You can prep for it all you want, obviously.
You're never going to actually really prepare.
It's still going to hurt you. It's still going to hurt you, but the initial reaction is different. And then Anthony, I got a phone call at 3:30 in the morning telling me he's dead, and this is the father of my kids. This is something that I never imagined. Like it was very different. Very, very, very different. Very different from when my grandfather died. Very different from even when my aunt died. It was like, you don't expect it. Like, I just didn't expect it. I didn't expect me raising my kids without him. Like, I never expected it. So it hits you differently, the initial reaction. But at the end of the day, when you love someone, you grieve for them. And I saw a quote recently after Anthony passed. I saw a quote that said, grief is a price you pay for love. And it's true. When you love someone, when they die, you grieve for them. Yeah. Because you love them. And it hits you different. It hits you. Because, again, it's not someone you knew or an acquaintance. It's a love that you had for the person. You end up truly grieving for them. You feel not having them. And you know, it's very, very different. So, it's true. Grief is the price we pay for love. And
but you see, like, okay, so you lost someone that had kids. Like, you lost someone that had kids. My friend didn't have kids. Like, it was just one of my best friends and his girlfriend. So, like, personally, me, this is where grief is like, what the fuck do you do, right? Because, like, me personally, I didn't want to cry in front of her because I felt like a total douchebag. Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, like, all right, I lost a friend, but you lost a whole fucking person.
You lost your partner. You lost a partner.
Yeah, you lost your person.
Yeah. Your person, exactly.
Your fucking person. It's Grey's Anatomy as it sounds, but whatever.
No, it's
like,
true.
It is true. And, like, I didn't want it in the beginning. Like, I couldn't do it. I was like, I would see her, and she would look at me weird. She would be like, what is going on? And I would be like, I would just hug her and be like, you're okay, you're okay. One day she looked at me, she's like, what are you doing?
So she was grieving in a completely different way, even though she was closer than you were, technically.
She was being more emotional.
But do you think that's like is that a block? Do you think that's something that's a block?
100% it is. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, like, when I would go see his mom, when I would go see her, his parents, like everything, his sister, I'd be like, oh no, don't be a dumb bitch. Like, you can't be crying in front of these people. They lost a whole kid. Yeah. Like, they lost a whole boyfriend.
You felt like some sort of
I felt guilt. I really did. I was like, you better get it together and you better not cry. Then I would go home
and bawl out.
Bawl my fucking living life away.
But that's the way you grieve. And I think it depends on the people and the scenarios.
But it depends on the person though.
It depends, but it also depends on the scenarios because I'm a crybaby. I cry for every fucking thing. I watch a commercial and I'm like, with the tears. But for me, like, when this death hit me, it was very different. Because for me, I was like, my mom, my mother, my maternal, like, instincts kicked in. And I'm like, you need to be strong. Keep it together. Janaya doesn't know. She's sleeping. This is going to be the worst day of her life. Okay, you can't cry. And every time, I will never forget that night. Like, I was pacing back and forth from my living room to my kitchen. Living room, kitchen. I must have done that 120 times. And the moment I felt like like I'm about to, I literally would tell myself, I'm like, no, stop. Janaya's sleeping. She can't see you like this. She can't see you like this. She can't see you like this. At least wait till you drop her off. Wait, and I had to literally keep it together for 3 hours.
Because I texted her that day. Because she texted me that night. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? This is a week after my friend died. Yeah. Literally a week after.
Yeah, you guys were at the same time.
Yeah, and I texted her and I'm like, what the fuck, Angie? And she's like, I dropped her off like nothing happened. And I was like,
I had to keep it together because for me,
because
again,
there's no
it's
plan.
like my maternal. It's not even
you know
that.
I mean?
It's like when you're a parent, I swear to you, it's so
you have to
weird
think
and
about
it's hard
things
to
1,000
explain.
different ways.
But I was literally, as she's sleeping, because I wake her up at 6:30 and I got the call at 3:30. As she's sleeping, I'm like Googling on my phone how to tell your child that their parent passed away, and I'm like, I need to do this the right way. I need to do this the right way where it's not gonna affect her and it's not gonna damage her. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drop her off at school. I'm gonna talk to the counselor. I'm gonna get their opinion. Like I'm here, like literally, like
trying to
my
figure it out.
maternal hat. Like I just put it on, and I'm like, what's the best way that's not gonna affect the kids, or that's not gonna affect them because they're gonna be affected. But what's the best way that this is gonna be the worst day of their life? They didn't lose a cousin, an uncle. They lost their father.
But you know what the thing is about that, and this is what goes back to like just my question about like there is no right way to grieve, right? There is no right way to do.
No.
There is no right way to tell somebody X, Y, and Z passed. So like all these things we were doing, I get what your mindset is at because I'll probably be thinking about the same thing. But like in reality, do we actually have a real answer as to like what is the right thing to do? How is the right way to grieve? What should I do?
Honestly, I'm gonna cut you off because I want to cut you off, but like when it comes to shit like that, it's not universal because it's like maybe I love this person more than the next person loved their person. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if something happened to someone that I love them this much. Maybe the next person is like, I love them, but it wasn't that. You know what I mean? It wasn't to that extent. But then I feel like also a lot of it is how it happened. You know what I mean? Like if someone just dies in their sleep or something like that, it sucks.
It sucks,
you know what I mean?
right?
But when you die of old age, like
it's okay.
Honestly,
like it's not what you want. It's not the outcome that you wanted, but it's like almost like a peaceful thing. Like I've had a lot of people pass away brutally. You know what I mean? Like where it's not fucking
natural.
It's not
a natural thing.
like
it's tragic.
You know what I mean? It's very tragic, and it's like I'm the kind of person where I'm thinking, what was that person's thoughts before this thing happened?
Thank you. That's me.
You know what I mean? So then that's what really fucks with me because I'm like, what was this dude thinking, man, before when this shit was going down? How did they feel? Were they scared? And
it's so crazy you say that because my daughter, that's all that she kept asking. And so Jojo and I, right, we lost her friend and the father of my kids a week apart, and they both died the same way. They were both shot.
People. Yeah.
2 different people, but they were both shot. He was shot once.
He was shot once.
Mine was shot 5 times. Yeah. And I didn't want to tell my daughter how he passed, but eventually I had to because she started hearing it and she started figuring it out. But like going back to that, like it's the way and the manner and this is like something that a lot of people don't know, but mine was caught on video. The whole incident's caught on video. And coincidentally, just someone I know was the first officer on the scene. So he was able to like give me all the details and I had no idea what happened. I had no idea the details and I saw the footage. I went and I met him up and I saw the whole thing. So
that makes him so much worse.
It makes it
because now you have a visual of the last moments. Yeah. You know, I thought about that. You know, when I thought about it, and this might sound corny, but you know, I thought about that last year when Kobe died. Like, I feel like, I don't know Kobe. Kobe doesn't know who the hell I am.
But it affected
But it affected me because, think about it. Again, it's like you, in life, right? We have our friends, we have our family. We try to leave an impact on people, right? Imagine somebody so iconic like Kobe and a helicopter with his daughter.
And leaving
so it's
multiple
not only that
daughters
it's not a tragic accident where he got hit by a train. It's just like blackout.
That's tragic. That's still tragic.
The helicopter spun. It was like you were alive. You got to feel your last moments not knowing that it was your last moments. I think, and I agree with you, it's about, I think a lot of it has to do with how it happened.
How?
Because
and who was who was there, because like for Kobe, for instance, no one else survived it. For mine, he was with his best friend, and his best friend remembers his last words. So his best friend told me what his last words were, and his last words were over and over, "Don't let me die, don't let me die, don't." So that does eat me up because I know that he knew he was dying, and he just kept saying, "Don't let me die, like, don't let me die." So it does. It matters. It matters how they died. It matters who was involved. When you know, like, you know, was it instantly where, you know, the person like didn't feel anything, didn't think anything, didn't know.
Me personally, if it was instantly, it would be a lot better.
But you be careful with that though, because I would challenge you because what if it was like he was bungee jumping?
That's what I'm saying.
And he died instantly, but it's still tragic.
It's still,
you know, it's still tragic.
A tragic death.
Listen,
like the people wake up. You have to understand. The people wake up like these people wake up, and I've thought you have no idea the stuff that I've been going through, and I feel him. He's like in my house. He's lingering because he is like so onto his daughter. But these people, when it's a tragic death like that, they wake up in their death like, what the fuck happened? Like, where am I? Like, it's so unexpected even for them. And even if they have a few seconds. Yeah, the past life. Like, even
like they're
like once they wake up after they pass, like imagine even if they have 10 seconds or a minute or maybe 2 minutes, like in Anthony's case, where they're like, oh my God, am I gonna die? You still wake up. Like, I'm sure, again, I don't know, I'm not, you know, a spirit, but I feel like they still wake up like, what the fuck happened? Like, how am I here? I'm dead? Like,
do you guys believe in resurrection?
Okay. So that's what I was going to get at.
That was like my next
question.
That shit was, I think like it was itching all of us.
Like, that's what I was
like, what do you,
not that a resurrection. Obviously, I feel like everyone at the end of the day believes in a higher power.
Everyone has different.
But a lot of people think that when you die, you just die. Okay. I don't.
You linger.
I think you come back. Like, not come back, but I think you do resurrect into something. Either whether your spirit's around or you come back as a fucking dog or a cat or some shit.
Here's kind of like mine similar. So I've had different beliefs, but you guys have no idea my beliefs have been my beliefs all my life. But since this specific passing, what I have felt in my house.
You start seeing things and
my daughter saw an apparition in my room the other day. She has never seen anything. I went and I saw a lady, and the things that she told me was like mind-blowing.
The worst thing to do,
I know.
though.
Thank you.
That's the worst. I've done that before, and that shit has fucked my mind up.
Listen,
you can see someone.
Well, like a psychic?
Yeah. See, like a psychic? But no, but if you see like Hispanics, they're actually like really good.
No, they're legit.
Yo, they're legit.
Listen, if anyone knows Anthony, anyone knows his relationship that he had with our daughter. Like, that was a very unique, he was a father like no other. And I can tell you, like, bro, if he ever died, I know that he is, like, all over my daughter. He won't even leave her side. Like, his spirit will stay with her. And it's crazy because, like, I've been told that, yeah, he's lingering here. And when you die tragically, they say that, like, what I've learned throughout, you know, he passed away October 24th. What I've learned is that when it's tragic like that, remember, like, the spirit wakes up and the spirit is very, like, confused too. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, where am I? Like, how am I here? And sometimes they're scared to cross over. Sometimes they're leaving people behind that they're like, there's no way. And I know in my situation, I know Anthony. It's like, there is no way that I left my daughter. There's no way that my daughter right now is going to be raised without a father. There's no way. There's no way. I'm not that. There's no way. I'm not accepting this. And I know that he's all over her because he was that father. And we've talked about that. He told me 2 months before he passed that he feels he's going to die early. You know, Angie, he had a life insurance policy at 32 years. He had it in 2017. He got it. And even the agent told me, like, this is not common. Like, people his age don't pull out life insurance policies. Like, Anthony had a feeling that he was going to die very young. And he told me in July he was going to die in his 30s. He knows he's going to die early. He just has that feeling. And I know he does not want to leave his daughter. Like, that was his world, and I know he's lingering, and I know he's in my house, and it's like, it's crazy, and I know it sounds crazy because I would never talk like this before, but the shit that I've experienced, I have not slept, I get woken up all night long, the shit that I feel, TV turning on multiple times in my house, like shit that I've never experienced in my life because I'm not sensitive like that. Since he died, it has been me, my daughter, Jalen, we've all been experiencing things in my house, and it's crazy because, again, like, I know he's there because he won't accept that he's gone. He won't accept it, and I feel like some spirits do. They linger because they don't want to accept that they've passed, or they're leaving someone behind that they refuse to leave behind.
Or their job is not done and they have to, like, they feel like
they
have to be
feel like
present.
they have unfinished business, or sometimes they fear, like, I feel like they fear to, to cross over. They fear it. They're scared, just like they would be scared. And I know he was scared in real life, so I imagine that he's scared to cross over now, in his life.
In my defense, like, it's a little bit different than when, I guess, you lose a partner. Like, she lost a partner who was the father of her kids at that point. And I lost...
At that point, he was always the father.
Well, obviously, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, she... One, two. What was it? 21 Savage said I got 1, 2.
Oh my God!
7, 8. Baby daddy's in my pants. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Well, I will never be on another podcast.
Yeah, you would.
Ever fucking.
She talks so much shit, though. Anywho.
So, they're friends, by the way. They're friends, and we all know each other.
We just
honestly, we're barely
so we do.
friends. But anyway.
Barely.
Okay, so, like, listen, my point was that, like, I didn't want to show my emotions to everyone else but myself and my best friend, who is my best friend, who, like,
so that's how you grieve. That's how you were grieving.
I only show my emotions to her, right? So, like, when I would see his girlfriend, when I would see his family, it was his death was very public, right? So, like, I was like, okay, like, I don't want to do it. It was public. It was on the news. It was everywhere.
Well, he was a police officer.
Cop, yeah, he was a cop. So it was like a very popular thing at the moment, right? So, like, whatever. I was like, oh, I'm okay, whatever. Finally, the fucking day that I felt like, oh, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay to go out. Like, I'm okay to do that. I went to Flanagan's. Literally a Flanagan's that nobody fucking goes to because it's not Doral. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm okay, whatever. I go to that Flanagan's. We're having a full-blown conversation. I look at the screen, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I just start bawling. And clearly I wasn't okay. I'm not okay to this day. Like, it goes up and down. I cry sometimes. I'm okay other times. Like, at the end of the day, he was one of my really close friends. And, like, I saw him the Thursday right before he died. Like, he died on a Sunday. I saw him on a Thursday where he took me out on my birthday. He was begging me, literally begging me to take me out that day. And I was like, no, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. Mind you, I would go out any day of the fucking week. But that day I was like, I don't want to go out. I'm tired. Like, I don't want to. And he's like, come on. Like, he even told me, he's like, I'm taking my nephews to, like, a haunted house. Like, this is why I can't take you out earlier. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll go out with you that day, right? When everything happened, that Sunday later on, when I spoke to his family tells me, like, his mom and his sister tell me, like, that was the last time we saw him too, that Thursday. And that Thursday, he tells us, like, I'm taking one of my good friends out for her birthday, so I need to leave early. And apparently his family was also like, I don't want to fucking go.
Yeah.
So whatever, like, everything happened. And, like, I read something a really long time ago that says, like, people say goodbye without saying goodbye. And after I had so many people pass away in my life, I feel like that is 100% true. Mm-hmm. Like, every person that ever passed away that meant something to me, somehow said goodbye right before. You know, Janet,
indirectly.
Yeah, some way. Indirectly. You know, Janet, I saw her a week before she passed away, after not seeing her for a year.
Yeah.
And I saw her
That's
a
not
week
coincidence.
before.
That's not a coincidence.
And then him, like, I saw him, mind you, like, he took me out, like, it was, my birthday was on October 10th, and he was like, I'm taking you out this day, I don't care. And he's like, oh, but we need to go out this day because I have a wedding this weekend and I'm leaving for the weekend, and, like, that's it. This is the only day I have because I'm working every other day. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, I was so annoyed. The whole time I was like, oh, you're so fucking annoying. And then we had a fucking great time. And you want to know what? The whole time we were out, we talked about shit that happened in the past. Like, shit that we went through. That when we used to rent houses in Orlando because we were young as fuck and we couldn't do anything else. Like,
it was just a very different,
And we, not at the moment, obviously, nobody thought about anything. And, like, I remember we got there, and it was two guys that I haven't seen in, like, 5 years. Literally. Like, I walked in, and I was like, what the fuck? And
which is very hard because you go out every single day.
Exactly. And it was my birthday, and I was just like, what the hell? Like, what are you guys doing here? And, like, it was so emotional, like, the whole day. And, like, this is why that quote that I tell you, like, I do believe. I don't know what anybody I don't know whether you believe in God, whether you believe in whatever the hell you want to believe in. But I do believe that everybody believes in a higher power.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, like, people do say goodbye without fucking knowing that they're saying goodbye. And that day, I felt like all of me wouldn't have gone. I really wouldn't have gone.
But something pushed you to go.
But I did go that day. And, like, I'm so happy I did because I would have never forgiven myself if I didn't go that day.
And it's crazy you say that because, like, with Anthony, a week before he died, he went on an Orlando trip with, like, 20 people. All of his closest friends. And they went to Halloween Horror Nights and they rented a huge, like, 11-bedroom house. And it's, like, this was right before he died. And all of his friends got to spend, like, their final 3 days heavy with him. And his last post on Instagram was he wrote, "Live life today." Like, it's crazy because, again, like, we don't see it until the person passes. And then we look back on it and we're like, man, it's wow. Like, how ironic did, all of this happen? And we got to spend, like, this very different, unique time with that person that is, realistically, it's different from what you normally spend with the person, but, and again, we don't think about it during the time, but we think about that after the person's gone. And it's
do you guys think crazy that as the older we get, like, more emotional you become?
100%.
I've and we talked about this before, and I think it's good that we're bringing this up as a to as far as, like, awareness, right? Because we've talked about this.
But the thing is that it's different.
You just got me off for school.
I meant to do that. Let's go. But it's different for you and I to be more emotionally aware or more openly whatever while these two play footsies. But
they want to be like us so bad.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't.
Twinsies!
I can't. The table and the chair are too close.
Come on! Twinsies!
I can't get my shit. Do it. I can't do it.
Berto, you better fucking do it. I'm fucking canceling from the show. This is my show.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Twinsies! But it as men, it is a lot harder for us to be able to be like, listen, like, this person passed away, this person whatever, and it's more difficult for us, as much as people don't want to believe it, for us to be like, damn, like, this made me feel this certain type of way. I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna feel sad, I'm gonna feel whatever.
Do you feel like it's different for men because you're, like, a man?
1,000%.
100%.
Because the thing is that since you're a kid, you have to be a man. You have to be tough. You have to be strong. Granted, not everybody, but from my perspective and from my upbringing is, like, you can't show no emotion. You can't. You have to be strong. You're the man of the house or whatever. You have to be strong. You can't cry. You can't do anything. So, I've had people, like, passing away, and it's never been where they die in their sleep or they, like, where it's like it's tragic. Like it's always been on some
tragic,
very fucked up shit. You know what I mean? So, growing up, it's like, that is what it is. You know what I mean? It's life.
So how do you feel that affected you, though?
In the way you grieve. Like, how do you feel? Because, like, we were talking about that. Like, people grieve different, right? How do you feel that you grieve? And why do you feel like you grieve that way?
Or have you grieved is the big question. Because it sounds like you haven't.
No.
And that's the thing, too. Like I mentioned before, like, the last person that I lost that was a close person to me was my grandfather when I was 13. But I've lost friends. In Reuben and Sweetwater, like, I've lost plenty of people getting stabbed and shot in front of me, but it's not like, I become numb to it. So I don't know if that's the reason why. I don't know if that's the reason why. Like, I just take me for granted. Like, if I've been seeing this as a kid, this is normal. You know what I'm saying? So, like, God forbid something happens. Like, and I've had dreams where, like, my mom and dad pass away, and, like, I've envisioned myself in
and you wake
the
up,
viewing.
like, sobbing.
No. I've literally pictured myself in the viewing, like, and just being like, you know, because people come up to you, bro. Sorry for your loss, I'm sorry for your loss, I'm sorry for your loss. And like, I don't want to hear that shit.
Listen, I've been to people's wakes that they're not even my family.
Yeah.
But the feeling that you get of someone else's heartbreak, you know what I mean?
Like
it's
with
like
the Kobe thing, like you don't have to know the person.
Same thing. When he died, I was just like,
I cried.
That shit hurt. And it was we're in quarantine. We're in quarantine.
But the thing is,
so that
I'm
shit
not
like
even a
affected
Kobe.
us.
I never liked Kobe.
Wow.
I never liked Kobe.
But did it affect you?
Yo, cut the clip.
It did.
No, we're
No,
not
but
affecting it.
I don't
but
give a
it's
fuck.
true.
No, the thing is that listen, I never it's not.
Either,
it's not even that I never liked him as like he was a good player, 1,000%, one of the best. I never liked his attitude on the court, whatever. But when it happened, I was like, damn, man, like, what was his last thoughts? When the fucking helicopter's going down, what's going on in their brain? That's what I'm thinking of, because from my experience, the people that have passed in my life have always been very tragic of what you've been through. So I'm thinking, what was he thinking when it happened? Then that fucks with me.
Then that's what gives you
what fucks with me, because I'm like, damn, it wasn't peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But how does that, like, in turn, how does that make you grieve? Like, do you grieve where you're just asking yourself questions? Do you allow yourself to feel and let it out emotionally?
I don't think you ask questions. I feel like
you do ask questions. 1,000% you ask questions.
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of grieving. I think you asking questions was part. Like, I'm sure that when you got the call, you know, you react, right? Because it's all adrenaline. You react, you go to the scene, you do blah, blah, blah. But when you get home 2-3 days later.
No, more.
And questions start like, why, but this, but that. And it's like,
it depends on the way the person died.
You will never have the answers to those fucking questions. Whether the person that killed them is in jail.
Well, it depends. If it's a tragic loss, no. If it's something natural,
do you think that it makes it worse not knowing why it happened, or what? Like, it could be something stupid, right? For example, your situation was a little different. You had somebody that was on duty. He was a cop. So he was killed on duty. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, we don't even know, they ever find a person?
No, they did.
Okay,
They're
but do you think that helps with the grieving? Do you think that helps with the grieving, or do you think that it makes it worse, or it doesn't?
I think if they didn't get caught, you now know that person got away with doing that shit. Yeah. So the fact that they got caught and they're doing time.
But I don't think she would know the answer to that, because she's only on the side of the person's caught. She hasn't been on the side of losing someone and the person's not caught, to know if there's a difference versus when the person's caught versus to when if they're not caught.
Okay, so can I ask you, was that person caught?
My situation's very different. Mine's still an open investigation, which sucks too, because I have so many. But it's the thing, like, at least you have answers, like, it's still like, we have no idea, like, what the fuck happened, like, why did it happen?
Even those video and all that.
How did it this? Because the video started when they were already, they were already in the thing. So but that fucks with you, because at least for me, I'm here playing detective on my own, and I'm trying to figure shit out, and I'm Googling, and I'm researching people's names, and I found out people's names, and I found their Instagrams, and I found their social media, and I'm like, the detective has no fucking idea, by the way, that I know all this information. But I'm like, I need closure. I need to know who was involved. I need to know, do they have charges? Are there aggressive people? Like, what the fuck happened? Why did it happen? Like, why?
Do you think that you finding it out is still gonna really be closure?
No.
It's so
like, what is the true definition of closure? The person is gone. So it's like, what do you think? Like,
at the end of the day, look,
I think the closure allows you to put it behind you, so you don't have to keep questioning, like, but what happened? But why?
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it allows you to be able to move on
like,
from it.
Hey, this person killed your person. All right. Yeah, I know you killed my person. But at the end of the day, you're still alive. You're still living.
Yeah, but that's
so there's really no closure.
There's
really no closure. That's not closure.
But this is what I mean. This is what grieving is. Grieving is you learning to live with what the fuck you went through.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Grieving
and
is
there's
not
processes.
like, okay.
Yeah, but you want that person that did that to fucking pay for it.
Agreed. You don't want that person to pay.
But that's getting revenge. That's not grieving.
No, but listen, the thing is that it makes...
I think that's getting revenge.
Listen, personally, to make it easier, not saying that it's easy, but to make it easier, the fact that you know that person's going to pay for what the fuck they did is what makes it like, okay, there's some type of justice for my person.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker did this shit to my person. Now he's paying for that shit. Fuck that. Whatever. And now they're gonna deal with what the fuck they did.
Yeah.
Granted, it doesn't make it any easier.
It doesn't make it easier.
But the fact that you know, that motherfucker's gonna pay for that shit, is what makes it like they didn't die in vain, or they didn't die.
Exactly.
This may sound ignorant, but they may not die in vain. So it's like they didn't die for like whatever, and then no one knows what happened. Like nobody, whatever. The fact that the person that did it got caught or whatever,
and
they
you
got
know the
fucked
story,
up,
you know what happened, you know
they got killed themselves.
Okay, let me ask.
Okay, so wait,
Okay.
you guys last week, or I don't know when you did this, but you guys had an episode where it was domestic violence. My cousin got killed off domestic violence. Literally, her boyfriend killed her of domestic violence. Luckily, her roommate was there, walked in, called the cops, and they were able to take her to the hospital. By the time they got to the hospital, she was already brain dead.
Damn.
Okay?
So then, but do you feel like you were different with that one?
So wait. No, I wasn't different because at the end of the day, I still wanted to beat his ass. Like, same
but the
way
grieving, the way it affected you, knowing the details about it. No, but you see, like, do you know the details about Yanni?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, you see, I don't know the detail. I know the details of what my friend's telling me, the video cut. So like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's very different. Like,
no, it is.
You question
100%.
things. At least, okay. The grieving process is a process, right? So you go through like different phases of it. So at least, okay, I know the story. I know what happened. Okay, boom. Let me move on to the next phase. I feel like if you don't get that clarity, it prevents you, or it makes it harder for you to move on to the next phase of the grieving. Because you're still questioning, like, but what the fuck happened? Like, but why did, like, I'm so confused. I don't even know what happened. You know, so you're still like in that phase of it.
So question, have you found your clarity?
I haven't.
I mean, it's been both has been very recent.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's.
No, but I'm saying, like, with, like, you said you've been doing the research and all this other stuff, like,
Honestly,
curious.
At the end of the day, and this is me, just how I feel. Everyone's different. I don't feel like them being behind bars is gonna make a difference for me. I feel anger. When I first found out, I was angry at him. I was mad at him. I was talking to him like why the fuck did you, like, why? Yes, there's a lot of whys that I have for him. And my daughter, and we're talking about grieving. I have 3 kids that they all lost. The boys lost their stepfather. My daughter lost her father. They all grieve different, all of them. So my daughter's angry. She's angry. She's mad. And I try to talk to her, and I tell her, like, you know, I ask her, Mommy, are you mad at Papi? Like, and she tells me, no, she's not, but I know she is. Because when she found out that he passed, when she found out the details of his passing, it wasn't like, she was like, he was drinking, right? I bet he was drinking. Because I bet if he would have been drinking, he would have gotten a fight. And if he would have gotten a fight, he would have gotten shot. And she says it with so much, like, anger. Like, she's mad at him. Yeah. And I know she's mad at him because, and you saw her give a speech at the viewing. She kept it together, not a voice cracked. She gave a speech that she wrote 10 minutes prior to leaving. And she was so, like, it was like, what the fuck? Because the strength that she had, and everyone's telling me, like, your daughter's so strong and your daughter's so strong. But I'm like, I hear you, but I know my kids, and I don't think she's strong. I think she's angry still, and it's not allowing her to go through the sadness, and it's not allowing her to go through that pain.
Yeah, she's still trying to figure out stuff herself. As a what? 10-year-old? 11-year-old?
10.
Like,
She's mad at her dad.
Absolutely.
She's mad at her dad, but my boys know the story too, and they know the
but they're older.
The gruesome details because
they're older though.
They're older. So I told them exactly how it was. I told them exactly what happened. Obviously, she doesn't know those details. But even them, like, my middle one is very, the way he sobs, he cries. He's a crier. He's the one that really shows his tears. My oldest one was, like, shocked. He was so shocked. Even, and you guys have to understand, like, I had to tell these 3 kids in 3 different times. 3 different times. I couldn't even sit them all 3 down at the same time and say it. I had to do it 3 times. It was like torture for me 3 times. And my daughter's reaction to my middle son's reaction to my oldest son's reaction were all completely different. And that goes to show that people grieve so differently. And I'm experiencing it firsthand with my 3 kids who lost their father figure, and they're all just going through it differently. Like, one's emotional, one's angry, and one's just like in a state of like,
shock. Just shock.
I still don't believe this is. I still don't believe
it's also.
So
I think it's also their age difference, right? So like, again, I remember losing my grandfather at 13. I feel like there's a certain age difference. Like your daughter, she's very smart individual, right? I feel like Anthony, he's in her. Like his spirit is in her.
100%.
His adult self is in that little
She's
kid.
An old soul. She's a very old
She's an old soul, right? So like that's been, like I think that things happen not for a reason. I think things happen when they're supposed to, right? Like it's part of life. And I think like the older I'm getting and I'm understanding that and I'm wrapping my head around it, I think that like that's kind of why I'm so but again, I haven't lost anybody close, so I don't know what my grief is. I know everybody's grief is different. Now, what I would ask each of you, right, is like, what do you think is really the determining factor to you really grieving? Like we were talking earlier about if you knew the person that did it, right? Do you think that would help you grieve? Do you think that would make it worse? Would you seek revenge? Would you say, oh, I feel better now, I know who it is, he's getting locked up?
Grieving's not a thing, it's a process.
Yes, it's a process.
But he makes a good point. Like
at what point is it?
Seeking revenge part.
At what point is it you're grieving to move
me.
forward, or you're grieving to set yourself back because you're plotting other shit?
Yeah,
that's my question.
I don't. And I hear you because like in my situation, some people were sorry, but.
Sorry, I'm laughing at something that happened earlier.
Because I know JoJo was about to say something.
No, I was pointing at him.
She was pointing at.
I was like, hey.
She was pointing at me.
I was like,
she
you
interrupted
go
her, and you was
I'm like, you go first.
I don't know. I don't know if there was a clockwise or
train
counterclockwise.
wreck.
All right. So
Then we like,
all right, no. Let's just keep it. Keep it right here. So go ahead. Your 2 cents.
Everyone's
Because I'm
different.
gonna wrap this up.
Everyone's different. From my situation, I don't feel like revenge. But again, Anthony had a lot of friends. He had family. His sister is very revenge. Fuck them. I hope they fucking. That she was saying crazy.
That's not revenge.
Shit.
That's more like.
Anger.
She's angry.
She's angry at the
Part of the
people,
stage.
but that's the way
It is
she's
what it is.
grieving. Me, I was like, yo, chill the fuck out. We don't even know the story yet. I don't give a fuck. I hope they. I'm like, yo, we don't know what happened. Like, I had to literally tell her. So for me, I don't feel like it's revenge. For me, I don't feel like I get a satisfaction. Like, yeah, that motherfucker's locked up. I don't feel that. Like, yeah, he deserves. I don't feel that. But then JoJo, I feel like from what she just said, I feel like she gets that. Like,
No,
yeah, he's behind bars. Like, he deserves.
Well, let her
No.
answer. You
No,
all right? So
I
you
don't.
answer yours. So
I
let her answer.
don't actually.
So
I've-
in your situation,
in
let me
my
reiterate the question. In
situation,
your
like,
situation, how do
okay.
you feel that you're dealing with your grief, knowing that you know exactly what happened because your friend was on duty? So it's a lot clearer. You know what I mean? Like as far as like, so what would you say
to a
is?
certain extent, because like it happened, he pulled the trigger, but who's behind bars is not who pulled the trigger either. Like they're both behind bars, but whatever, you know. And in my situation, it's like, all right, you're both in jail, but like at the end of the day,
Does that really
not
help?
bringing anybody back.
Exactly.
Like
So it doesn't
don't
really help
care.
to an extent.
No, it doesn't.
It helps to an extent as far as like, all right, you're getting
It helps to an
justice.
extent, like, okay, you're in jail because you did what you did because you're a piece of shit at the end of the day. But like, I'm not getting anything back. At the end of the day, my friend is not here.
Yeah.
So, I visit you in jail so you can give me some clarity on what the fuck you did? Probably. Because I don't understand why you did that.
Yeah.
So that's me. And you being in jail does not matter to me.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
And again, I think that's. I feel like I don't know if there's like a cutoff time for grieving, because again, I'm gonna keep mentioning this. I don't know. I don't know yet.
I just feel like.
Do you think it's something that is gonna just continue on and just get less
100%.
and less? The more like, do you feel like it's gonna keep? You're gonna start asking less questions because more things are coming to light,
Not less
or do you just start letting go a little bit and just
come to
accepting?
questions.
You
come to
accept
peace
it,
with-
and you know
okay.
how to cope with it.
I just feel like, honestly, personally, me, I'm like, okay, like, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah.
Like you got the story, you
And-
got the people that
Yeah,
are involved.
right.
Like you're basically your own FBI agent,
I learned.
and you put it to rest when you're ready to
and
put it to rest.
I learned to live with it. Do I get over it?
No.
No.
It's never getting over.
I learned to live with it. Over it, I don't think so.
And a lot of people told me, like people that have experienced grief have told me, like, because yeah, I've experienced it, but people have told me like, listen, the worst hasn't happened yet. Like the worst is months after.
Yeah.
The worst is like a year after. The worst is like, and I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like it's worse than the viewing. It's worse than seeing him in a casket. It's worse than this. Like how does it get worse? It's worse than breaking the news to my kids and hearing their cries and their screams and like the mother's worst nightmare. How does it get worse than that? But other people tell me that it does get worse, and then I also have had people tell me that the pain doesn't get easier, but you learn how to cope with it. You learn how to continue with your life. You learn how to live with it. And when you think about it, it still hurts the same. Their death still hurts you the same, but it's you've already learned how to move on and continue your life.
I think that in your specific case, the reason why people are saying it's getting worse is because now you have to split yourself into two people. Yeah. Now you have to be a father and a mother. And being a mother alone is already hard enough. So now it's like, how do I be a person that was already there doing their best? You can't. You don't know the answer to that. So I think that's what people are saying, that it gets worse. Like, I can only imagine if, like, I lose the mother of my daughters. Like, I don't know how to be a mommy. I can cook and all that stuff, but, like, I don't know how to do women's stuff. You know what I mean? Like, a man is a man, a woman is...
Like a person needs their mom and their dad.
Exactly.
You know?
So, like, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for you. Now, what I would say...
Everything depends.
No, but it is 100% a challenge.
I think it's just a challenge.
It's a challenge, but don't underestimate yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't, but you know what? I think that also prevents me from grieving the way I want to grieve, because I want to be able to cry when I feel like crying. But I've had to, in this situation, I've had to bite my tongue and stop and not cry, because I need to show my strength for my kids and I need to be there. And then when I go take a shower is when I'm able to let it out. Or when they fall asleep, I'm like, oh, crying, you know, like, and it shouldn't, I feel like it's not fair for me. It's not fair for me, because I want to be able to cry when I feel that urge to cry, but I can't, because no, you know, I have to be a good mother and I have to keep that strength for them and I have to be their shoulder and I have to let them cry. And when they go to sleep, then I can show my weakness and then I can show my... That's how I've been, like, living these last 6 weeks of being in that situation, of being the mother of these kids who lost their father.
Just unstable, unstable.
Because this is something that I have dealt with, and I'm going to talk about suck my dick.
Why laugh? I'm so confused. Why are you laughing?
Because I this is something going on, but you guys don't know it.
No,
just go.
I mean, I know what we're doing.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. But
Berto,
the thing is that what I'm thinking is that the shit that I dealt with at the time that it happened, I can still remember looking at my mother like, wow, my mom is really strong. My mom never cried at that time. Now my mom's a super softie. She cries for everything.
But how does that make you feel now? Like, looking back at it?
Looking back at it, I respect her. I'm not saying this is how you should do. I mean, everyone's different. But I'm saying because when I saw my mom going through the shit that she went through, and she just kept it strong and like whatever, I was like, what the fuck? Like, my mom is like a superhero. She never cries. She never... And there's a lot of shit that we went through, but she just never broke. As we got older, she broke more and more because she knew that we can handle it.
Right.
But I'm not saying that this is how you should play it, because I don't have kids. I don't know what the fuck you're going through. But I'm saying from what I remember with my mother, when I would see shit that would go down, and she would just be like, okay, well, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and I would just be like, what the fuck? Like, my mom is strong. My mom never cries. She's the strongest woman I know. Maybe. I don't know. I guess look at it like that.
But I want to show my kids that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to cry.
That is very powerful.
That's natural.
That was my mom. My mom was a fucking single mom, doing it all with 3 kids, and that was her the whole fucking time.
But then, like, on the opposite, on the contrary, I feel like a part of me wants to show my kids, and I've sobbed. Like, my friend made a video of my daughter and her father, a bunch of pictures, and it's this fucking song, because, you know, songs make everything 10 times worse when you put a sad song in the background. And I'm watching it, and my daughter's next to me, and I'm like, and I'm looking at her, and she's like, watching the video, I'm like, how are you not?
You know why?
It's
because your daughter's 10, and for one, your daughter's 10. She doesn't understand what really happened. For 2, you're gonna be ready for that when you're ready for it. You're not ready. This shit just happened literally weeks ago. So like, when you're ready to like release and all that, like, you have to, like, that's when you're gonna be that strong person and be able to have the conversation. You can't have the conversation right now. All your kids are still young. Your oldest is 18, right? Like, it still doesn't hit them yet until they're not adults.
You don't think it hits them at that age?
No,
Angie,
like, no.
You think that
Listen,
she's
I thought a lot of things hit me.
Listen.
She's not a grown person.
Yeah, we're live. Everybody does a grieving different ways. So, with people that have dealt with grief in general or recently, what would you say is your takeaway as far as like a step, the next step, whatever it is, to moving forward in your grieving process?
There's multiple steps. Everyone does it differently. Right now, I'm currently in kind of like the shock stage still, a little bit of anger. I know it's time consuming and it'll take probably a few years till I get through it, but it's really different for everyone.
I personally feel like there is no step. Like, you learn to live with it, but at the end of the day, like, it's something that's always gonna come back to you. You see a picture, you see a video of that person, and that shit is gonna hit you like no other. So, me personally, like, I don't feel like you 100% ever get over it. I just realize that you learn to live with it.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. It's like, you always get to the point where you believe, like, it is what it is. Whatever happened was supposed to happen. I mean, me, it's whatever happened was supposed to happen, and I just try and learn from what happened. As fucked up as it may, whatever may had happened, it's like I have to say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from that? You know what I mean? And take that into my own life and just fucking keep pushing. As fucked up as it feels or whatever I'm going through, I'm just at least trying to take something positive or take something good or take a lesson out of what it was.
Yeah.
Or the person. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't dealt with grief, but I just think that, like I said earlier, I think that as we get older, we just got to put our egos to the side and our emotions to the side and really just love one another. You know what I mean? Like, just embrace, because we never really know. That's what it is. Embrace the time that you're with somebody, because you never know.
Live life today.
I can't, if I don't wake up tomorrow, you're going to be like, damn, I was just doing a podcast with Berto last. You know what I mean? So, like, those little things, just literally take it day by day and just really embrace it. Embrace the time, the present, because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Do you embrace spending time with me today?
I fucking hate it. But let's do this. Just to wrap it up, we always try to finish it off.
Nigga, give flowers when it's due, bro.
Yeah.
Give flowers when it's due.
You can't say I love you.
Wow. This is mad.
And it's a wrap.
No, we still got to do the
Cut
game.
off.
But
Cut off.
You should have dapped me up.
Yo,
I'm sorry that happened.
the only person that's ever messed with this rug in fucking 2 years, bro.
And I was worried about my wife.
Oh my god. Alright, so Will's just being Will. Why are your hands so cold, man? What the fuck is wrong with you now? What's out? Alright, so
Bitch, ew.
I don't know what the hell just happened. Just my co-host being my co-host. So
I was trying to show you love. I was trying to show you love. Tell me, was I not trying to show him love?
You were totally trying to show him love.
Why are you so aggressive? I don't understand.
And cheers to all of us
I'm talking
being
to
on the podcast. Hey, girl.
Shout out to episode 3. We appreciate
Cheers.
Angela Rodriguez Morales Gonzalez Morotos.
It's
Joann
Angela and Jojo. Oh, Jojo.
Thank you for coming and sharing your tips and
Your tips. Just a tip.
your stories and everything. So we're gonna end this on a positive note. We always like to end this with a game. It's gonna be a really quick game. Last time you did.
I'm nervous.
First, what?
I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous? It's just whatever.
Okay, girl.
What game?
Don't interrupt him.
What's happening?
Don't do it. Stay behind.
Go, bro. What's the game, yo? What's the game?
All right. So this one is called This or That. So you're gonna just pick one or the other. It's A or B
He's first.
option. No, it's just you guys.
What is it?
I call this or that. This or that.
Okay.
This or that. Jojo's gonna go first. It's
What
very
the
simple.
fuck? Why me?
Don't overthink it.
Okay,
It's
fine.
just this or that. You pick either one or the other option. Whatever comes to mind first.
All right,
Ready?
go. 1.
3, 2, 1, go. All right. Liquor or wine?
Ooh, liquor.
Flights or road trips?
Oh, is it me?
It's only you, bro.
I'm sorry.
You're the only person who's gonna
nice.
go. Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Bachata or merengue?
Bachata.
Heels or sneakers?
Ooh, heels.
All right, last one. Love or loyalty?
Loyalty.
High five on that one.
Those was good choices.
High five. Now let's go to the ratchet side.
Oh, is it still me?
No.
Thank you.
Disclaimer.
This bitch knows she's ratchet.
Disclaimer. This is nothing to do with us. This is you guys. So you're the ratchet one. All right, ready? It's quick answers, right?
1, 2, 3, bitch.
First thing that comes to
Well,
mind.
First thing that comes to mind. First thing that comes to mind. All right, ready? Are you ready?
Hurry
All
up,
right,
bitch.
cool. Gym or CrossFit?
Gym.
You go to a CrossFit gym though.
I don't go to CrossFit.
That's so contradictory. All right, whatever. Anyways.
Whatever. You don't
All
ask questions.
right. Gym or CrossFit?
I just fucking answered.
Say it again.
Gym.
Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
100%.
Childhood or adulthood?
Childhood.
Childhood.
This is not. Why the fuck
Sorry.
is this bitch answering my question?
I know. Tootsies or BTs?
BTs.
Ooh.
Damn, I never been to Tootsies.
Lemon pepper wings. Botox or lip injections?
Oh shit, that's
Both.
Oh,
I have to
God.
Because you have both.
Botox.
All right, and this one is specifically for you. Surgeon in Colombia or Dr. Miami Hialeah? Or Dr. Miami Hialeah? Which one? Which one?
Which one is it?
Which one is it?
Wait, what? Say that the whole thing.
Surgeon in Colombia or Dr. Miami Hialeah?
Hialeah. Oh, I'll pick Colombia over Hialeah.
No. I'm not asking what would you pick. I'm saying, where did you go?
They thought I'd never make it. See me fall down and they celebrate.
I hate you. I would definitely not ever do
No.
anything in Hialeah.
That has like no sentiment whatsoever.
What are you talking about?
The shit I
I'm
done seen got me
asking you.
traumatized. Trying to clear all the pain in my mama's
gonna
eyes.
ask
My
me
daughter,
that?
she watching.
We're not doing none of that shit.
Better myself
This is
like I
episode 3,
should
ladies
be.
and gentlemen, and we
I didn't
appreciate you
know
guys.
that street shit.
No, because we're
Came a
the
long way,
hosts.
but don't push
Cheers.
it.
We appreciate you guys coming. Nah, what are you talking about? You didn't ask me questions. Well, you asked me because it was only me and Vanessa last time.
Gotta turn on my phone.
Nah. This is episode 3, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 3, we appreciate you guys coming through. JoJo, Angie, catch them on OnlyFans and
these bitches is heathens.
Not my
Thank you for tuning in.
Cause they thought I'd never make it. See me fall down and they celebrated. Learn how to win with no demonstration. How about the cool got a ventilated? Cause I can't see shit out on 95. Prolific little bitch, I see dollar signs. The shit I done seen got me traumatized. Trying to clear all the pain in my mama's eyes.